How long until we're on? Oh, we still got 2 minutes.
Yeah, I don't like it.
No, yeah, you're toast.
No, I'm not toast. She's going to have to go now. 49 is pretty slow for these.
I've got a golden ticket.
That's a winner!
All right, guys. Good Thursday evening. We are live here again, DraftKings at Casino Queen, and an exciting weekend last weekend. Yeah,
Thank God the NFL's back.
yeah. NFL's back. Week 2 of college football going into week 3. So it's really what we've all been waiting for.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
The death of summer is over.
Yeah, absolutely.
We had a good week in the NFL. Damien and I had a good week in the NFL. I don't remember what you
Yeah.
had, but I think we all did.
I would have if Minnesota wouldn't have lost to Tampa Bay somehow.
Yeah.
That was the.
We got one survivor left. Who are we going to use this week, John?
I have no idea. I haven't looked at it. We're the survivor. I don't think you guys know that, but
Barely.
yeah, I forgot to change my picks last week, and I had Minnesota in 3 of them because I'd said it beforehand and forgot to change it, and Minnesota goes down. So 3 survivor entries down the drain.
David
had the Eagles.
No, I had Baltimore.
Baltimore. Yeah. So we got one of them left. Yep.
Yeah.
Survivor's always fun. Risk a little, win a lot. But you got to pay attention each week, of
Obviously,
course.
nobody listened to me. I said take Washington.
You did.
But
I think everybody had Washington.
Don't want to burn a good team if you don't have to.
Yeah, Washington struggled first half.
Oh, I know. They had us nervous there.
Yeah.
Sam Howell throwing a turnover at the end of the second quarter going into halftime. So that was kind of nerve-wracking. But they skated by the Arizona Cardinals. And Arizona is getting 4 points. That's it. This might be the smallest.
This will be the game where they're the least underdog all year.
Yeah.
And they're playing the team I told you I hated all year. So I said this was, when I was figuring out the New York Giants schedule, this was one of the games I gave them as a W.
I didn't check that big ticket that was given us. All the favorites didn't win last week? Oh, we didn't because it started with Detroit.
No.
Yeah. All the favorites didn't win anyway. Washington won.
Yeah.
That was never going to win.
I know. I just didn't check it. I think I used it as kindling.
Yeah.
Could have used it as toilet paper.
This is a little rough.
Yeah.
We got some interesting tickets tonight. What do we, Damien? We went on in on some fun stuff tonight.
Well, we decided to take a couple of flyers here. We took both teams because we want to have a little bit of action. We took the tight end on both teams to score the first touchdown of the game. So that way, no matter who has the ball, we got a shot.
Yeah, and
So,
nice prices.
Yeah, yeah. TJ Hawkinson come back at, we bet $30 to win 600, so that's 20 to 1. And then we also had Dallas Goddard at plus 13 to 1, so we bet on him to take a shot on him as well. So I think it's a good matchup for both tight ends. The Eagles secondary is in shambles right now with injuries. Their linebackers and secondary. Mac Jones threw for 330 yards or whatever it was last week. Yeah, you heard me right. Mac Jones of the Patriots threw for 330 yards on the Eagles secondary
Almost
last
a
week.
backdoor cover.
And the Eagles also, and the Eagles' second best cornerback is out. Their starting safety is out for this week. So, I mean, that's two big losses in the secondary. The problem for Minnesota is their starting center is out. And the one dominant unit the Eagles have is their defensive line. So I expect a lot of quick passes, a lot of short sets. I think you'll see a lot of TJ Hawkinson in this game. A lot of
hopefully right away.
A lot of last year Jefferson was covered by Darius Slay of the Eagles, and it was Jefferson's worst game of the season. He had one catch and 7 yards, if I remember right, last year in the game. It was something ridiculous. Darius Slay absolutely shut him down. And like I said, I expect Minnesota will probably put Jefferson in the slot to make sure that Slay can't cover him, to get him off of Slay, as the rest of the Eagles secondary is very, very suspect. They're starting a rookie as the other corner, and I think whoever Darius Slay is not covering is who they're going to be targeting all day. And I think this will be a heavy Hawkinson game and a heavy whoever Darius Slay is not covering game. I think you'll see Jefferson on Slay as much as the Eagles possibly can do it. And I think Jordan Addison has the potential to have a big game for Minnesota as well.
Yeah, Mac Jones threw the ball 54 times.
54 times.
Yeah, 35 of 54, 316, and 3 touchdowns with a lone pick. So they didn't use Ezekiel Elliott a lot.
No.
Well, he fumbled, and if you know anything about Bill Belichick, you fumble, you're in the doghouse. And Zeke put himself in the doghouse big time. Just as an example, I'd probably be pretty big on Ramondre Stevenson rushing and receiving yards this week against the Chargers. Against the Dolphins.
Yeah.
After the Chargers ran and threw all over them last week. So it might be a good Ramondre Stevenson prop bet Sunday.
Yeah, Ramondre having the bulk of the carries against the Eagles. 12 carries for Stevenson, only 7 for Ezekiel Elliott. So, yeah, I could see that. How bad is New England in the receivers position? Kendrick Bourne, 6 catches.
He had 2 touchdowns, though. He had a big game.
Barely heard of the guy.
Hunter Henry had a very nice game for Philly, for New England against Philly, and Hawkinson's considerably better at tight end. So I've got every Hawkinson prop over today, including him to score a touchdown. I got him over 4.5 catches. I got him over 48.5 yards. I expect Hawkinson to have a big game. And like I said, with Philly missing not only a corner but a safety, the safety that covers the tight ends, I expect Hawkinson to have a huge game in this tonight.
Yeah.
So
New England's got a bunch of barely heard ofs at receiver, basically.
Yeah. If Philly had this much trouble covering New England's 3rd, 4th tier type wide receivers, with Jefferson, who's the best receiver in the game, and Addison, who had a very nice week 1.
He did.
I really, like I said, Philly's pass rush is going to have to be overwhelming in this game. I know a lot of people are on Philly in this game. I think Minnesota hangs around this game. I think this game is going to be a 30-27 kind of game. I expect Philly to win, but I think Minnesota covers.
Yeah.
I'm with John Lowe. I like the under. I don't really like it. I bet the under.
I have a feeling your local neighborhood bookies are going to be having a ton of Philadelphia teasers.
Yeah.
And my guess is it'll be Philly over if they want to play the game tonight, or you'll have Philly that down to -0.5 and whoever they want to play on Sunday, which I would probably put Buffalo in that. I expect Buffalo to lay waste to the Raiders, but that would be my guess.
So Damien, what I did is I did a 4-teamer. I took Justin Jefferson to score a touchdown anytime. Hurts to score a touchdown anytime. Philadelphia money line and the under 49.5. That's my 4-teamer tonight.
Yeah, obviously, I just told you all I really like the over in the game.
Yeah.
But
I'm just letting you know that's my 4-teamer.
you know,
So, there it is.
obviously, I don't hit them all. Last week I went 9-6 against the spread, and I went 3-1 on the totals that I gave out. So I missed the Tampa Bay Minnesota total, and I said I went 9-6 against the spread. I went 3-2 on the bets that I made before the season. That I would have went. Indy had a 1st and goal at the 1-yard line with a minute left, and unfortunately, my boy Richardson got hurt, and they had to bring in Gardner Minshew, who
Gardner's not bad.
yeah, but he was bad from the 1-yard line, three passes, and
He was bad from the
the
1-yard
draw
line.
play went nowhere either. So that was a painful loss. That was a huge swing for me if I could have got in if Indy gets in for that touchdown, but
I mean, look at Baker Mayfield getting his first win of the year, huh?
I'm not as completely stunned by that one. Minnesota's shaky. How Minnesota only scored 17 in that game is beyond me. Kirk Cousins had almost 300 yards at halftime, but 2 turnovers will do that to you.
Absolutely.
And then they couldn't get off the field in the second half. Evidently, Baker Mayfield figured out the defensive signals of the Vikings. That's what's been going around and what I've been reading about. He figured out the Vikings' defensive signals, and the Vikings were using very similar signals on 3rd down every time, and the Vikings were just converting every 3rd down. And Tampa Bay was converting every 3rd down. Tampa Bay held the ball for like 22 of the 30 minutes in the second half. It was absolutely insane, and they came back and won the game.
Yep. My man Calvin Ridley getting back for Trevor. 8 catches, 101 yards, TD. Trevor got rolling in the second half. So they're going to Kansas City this week.
No, Kansas City's going.
Kansas City going to Jacksonville.
And Jacksonville. What's the line on that? It can't be. I'm going to take Jacksonville.
I'm going to stay away from that game.
I probably should too, but I don't know why I have this.
I suspect
angst for Kansas City. I like Mahomes. I
think
the
total's 51 in that game.
That's a lot.
If Kelsey's back and healthy in this game, I expect the game to go over the total. Remember I was big on Calvin Ridley months ago. I bet the Calvin Ridley props over, just like I did with Garrett Wilson. Unfortunately, Aaron Rodgers is no longer to be found, and I think I can probably just light my Garrett Wilson prop bets on fire because
hey, we'll see.
The Jets quarterback sucks.
Yeah,
Zach Wilson.
He looks terrible.
Zach Wilson.
Who's behind him now? Did they acquire anybody? Or they just bring up their practice squad.
I think they're going to re-sign the guy they cut in after the second week of preseason, Chris Streveler, who's kind of more of a running quarterback who doesn't throw the football very well. I wouldn't be stunned if they went after, say, Carson Wentz. I mean, that would kind of be where I would maybe lean on going if I was the Jets. I'd try to sign veteran like him. I know some people are speculating like Philip Rivers. I just think Rivers is too far gone out of the NFL to be of any type of impact. But
I mean, he's better than what they got.
Yes.
I don't think Rivers. I think he'd be an upgrade.
I do too, but
that's actually not a bad idea. He's on his couch getting a call. He might take it from the Jets. I mean, they were projected to win the division and go far. Why
Well,
would he
Buffalo
take?
was projected to win.
Well,
the
I'm sorry, but
division,
the Jets are projected.
If you remember,
to
I
go
did
far.
bet
Yeah,
the Jets to win the division.
you did. That's what. Okay.
but,
So what I'm point is
ugh.
the defense that they have. What Philip
Oh,
Rivers, man.
defense is a monster. He
So
proved it
why wouldn't
Sunday
he
or
want to
Monday
go
night.
somewhere? It's not the old Jets of old. If he
No.
feels he can do something with that,
Well, the
I'm
offensive.
calling Philip Rivers.
Well, I mean, Philip Rivers might look at the Jets' offensive line and decide he's too old for that.
You think he's got a call yet?
They may have put a call into him.
I'm curious. I'd like to know.
They may have
I like
put a
Philip
call
Rivers.
into him. Oh, I did
He
too.
had a nice career.
Absolutely, he did.
He didn't win anything, but I mean,
You know, he's got 8 or 9 kids. I think he's, and I'm not exaggerating. Him and Drew Brees could pretty much start their own 8-man football team between the two of them. I mean, it's.
I've seen Philip Rivers play in college on a Thursday night.
Yeah.
Anybody remember where he went to school?
NC State,
The Wolfpack.
and
He tore up Clemson 49-7 on a Thursday night.
Here.
I think it's circa 2002.
talk about circa perfect timing. David Sanders just sent in that text. Perfect timing.
The
Say
Survivor
circa.
contest has
Yeah,
9,000 entries.
9 million for first.
Wow.
9 million.
31 people paid $1,000 and did not make a pick.
That's crazy. David is
Wow.
the king of pointing that out. How many people did not actually make a pick? Could you imagine? That's what I said
31
about forgetting to make a
entries.
pick. That's why I didn't want to do a survivor pool, because I'll forget to make. But imagine paying $1,000. How wealthy do you have to be to forget about your $1,000 entry fee?
Wow. Wow.
So
Yeah, we do a show for DraftKings. Yeah. Yeah, that's astonishing. I'd have a lot of time devoted to that if I paid $1,000 for the Survivor.
How much money do you have to have just to forget about your entry?
Yeah, I guess $1,000 doesn't mean much.
Wow.
Yeah.
I guess not. 31 people. That's a
Yeah.
lot. Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway,
yeah, this is one of those weeks where a lot of the bad teams play each other and a lot of the good teams play each other. So I just burn Buffalo and get it over with.
you like Buffalo, huh?
I think Buffalo lays waste to the Raiders.
Yeah.
What's the line there?
I think it's 8.5
Yeah.
or 9,
yeah.
something
Yeah.
along those lines. Not only that, I think Buffalo covers the game easily.
I don't know. Dallas giving 9.5 to the Jets.
That's it. With that defense,
I think it's too much.
people tend to overreact to
week one.
week one
Yeah.
a lot. Like I will tell you, there's about 5 games there that I really love this week. And probably my favorite one, the Bears are getting anywhere between 3 and 3.5 against Tampa. The Bears are going to win that football game. They're going to win the football game. So I love the Bears in that
We're
game.
gonna. We didn't do it last week. That's
But-
my fault. We're gonna start. We don't have to go through the whole slate. We can, but we're each gonna pick what we like and keep a record of how we're doing. What do you think?
Well,
I can start clean slate this week.
I put up on last week's picks that I gave out 15 in the NFL. I did not pick the Raiders Broncos side, and I went 9-6 on the sides, and I went 3-1 on the totals. And those, I went back and listened to the podcast, and and that's what I did. So I mean that's if I go 60% every week, there'll be a lot of happy people.
All right, so Damien, let's do that. Let's go through. Let's just say you said you like 5 games. Give them to me against the spread. And tell me what they are.
Obviously Chicago, Buffalo.
Hold on. This is against the spread.
Against the spread.
Which is what right now?
Chicago is either 3 or 3.5. I think you have it on the other side of that.
I think it's at 2.5.
Okay, I don't care. Chicago's going to win the game.
Okay, and then what else we got?
Buffalo. I guess they were 8.5.
Okay.
Cincy is -3.
Okay.
Let me. I got it. I think there were 5, but I'm drawing.
It's right.
Cincy going to need to bounce back for sure.
Yeah.
Lost 24-3 last
here.
week to the Dog
Cincy
Pound.
-3.5.
Yeah.
What do you like? Cincy -3.5.
Oh yeah, I like Cincinnati -3.5.
Okay. What's next you got?
I like Pittsburgh at home getting the 2 on Monday night.
Okay.
And I like New England getting the 3 against the Dolphins.
All right. Okay, John, you got some NFL. We're gonna go to college, but you got any
I'm just going to roll with my
Trevor?
boys getting 3 at home.
All right.
The disrespect getting points at home. They got them as dogs at home.
Is that the only game you like?
Uh,
You want to look?
no, I don't need to look, but
I don't need to look.
uh, yeah, let's just stay with that one for
Okay.
now.
All right. And I'll add mine in, and I have to look at it a little bit, but
But yeah, Bengals just looked awful, guys.
Yes, they did.
I'm taking the Ravens plus
Uh,
3.5.
How about 14 of 31 for 82 passing yards? Who did that? Any idea, David?
Say that again.
14 of 31 for 82 passing yards. They lost 24-3.
The Bengals.
Bengals,
Joe
yeah,
Burrow.
Joe Burrow, yeah.
Was
That's
14 of 31
he's
for
not gonna do.
82.
He's not gonna do that again.
It's hard to do that
Like-
again.
Like I said, this is overreaction to week 1. Cincinnati will absolutely crush Baltimore this week.
yeah.
Cincinnati will win this game.
I
by-
actually
I'm
like the
telling you-
Bears also.
I'm telling you,
That's another
Cincinnati
game I
will
like
win this
there.
game by 3 scores. It's going to be like a 34-17 kind of game, Cincinnati.
All right, I'm rolling with you on the Bears minus 3. I like
Plus
that.
3.
Is it plus 3?
Yes.
It was
I
a
like
sloppy,
a minus 3. How do you like that?
It was a sloppy day in Cleveland. It was raining the whole game.
Well, like I said, I mean,
I'm
Burrow
gonna move that line.
Burrow didn't practice for a month. If you remember, told you all last week I really liked Cleveland against Cincinnati.
I like the Lions minus 5.
You know, Nick Chubb, 18 carries, 106 yards. Deshaun getting out of the pocket for 45 rushing yards and a TD.
You hear me?
So Browns fans have some hope after week 1.
Lions minus 5.
Seattle's 2 starting offensive tackles are probably out this week. But
They lost to the Rams at home, too.
At the same time, this is also one of those things where, I think that line's inflated. I would probably lean to taking Seattle. I will take Seattle myself.
Okay.
I know I will,
Yeah.
just because I like the bounce back. There's something called the 10-point rule, and it doesn't quite apply in that game. But basically, if one team covers the spread by 10 or more, and they're playing a team that lost against the spread by 10 or more, you play the team that lost against the spread by 10 or more.
Yeah.
It's a simple, like I said, it's called the 10-point rule. The Cleveland-Pittsburgh game happens to be one of those spots.
I'm also going to take the Saints on Monday night and lay the 3.
Yeah, there's 2 Monday night games this week.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Saints minus 3 on the road against the Panthers. I don't think the Panthers are very good.
Saints minus 3 on the road. Michael Thomas showing some flashes last week.
I will probably be on Carolina plus the 3 in that game. It's their first home game.
I only want you to pick
with the
what you
rookie
like.
quarterback. I understand, Bob. Well, I mean, I picked every game last week except one.
Okay.
So I mean, I'll tell everybody what I like and what I don't. I'm just saying the ones I really like. I'm getting. I think Carolina will be completely pumped for that. New Orleans did not look good against Tennessee. They really didn't. Matter of fact, Tennessee was the beneficiary. No, I wouldn't say. New Orleans was the beneficiary of about 3 calls that were absolutely horrific that all went their way in that game. And Tennessee probably should have won that football game. Now I got the cover, so that's all I really cared about. But New Orleans did not look good. I mean, Chris Olave looked good. Rashid Shaheed looked pretty good in that game. But their running game was atrocious. Tennessee's run defense is about as good as there is in the NFL. But they could not run the football in that game. And I just, I expect, and they were at home. I expect Carolina, who actually ran the ball fairly well against Atlanta. They controlled the clock. They had the ball for like 36 minutes in that game.
Crucial turnovers by Carolina last
Atlanta
week.
only had 48 plays of offense. And, I mean, Carolina did a good job controlling the clock, running their offense on the road. I was actually kind of impressed by Mr. Young. And, they just kept, they turned the ball over at the worst times. I like getting 3 points at home in a primetime game when I think the teams are basically about equal. So I would take the 3 points there with Carolina.
All right. Before I forget, because I do, and I'm terrible. But we have a question. Let me get to it. What about Nebraska versus Northern Illinois? We were going to get to this after the break, but let's do it now. Nebraska versus Northern Illinois, guys.
Nebraska,
I said-
Northern Illinois.
I whiffed badly on Nebraska last week. I did say the game would stay under. I think that's about the only thing I got right on Saturday. Oh, I did get Texas. I got that one too. But I said the game would stay under. But oh my God, I mean
What's the line on this game?
No,
10.5 points.
the Nebraska quarterback is just
Very
awful.
inconsistent.
He's not even inconsistent. He's just bad. They've turned the ball over 8 times in 2 weeks. I mean, and a lot of them are just horrible turnovers. They're not forced turnovers. They're literally giveaways. Just mishandling snaps and horrible interceptions. And, I mean, they have the ball driving down the field really well. And then the snap goes 15 yards behind, the quarterback. And, I mean, and not only they turn the ball over, 8 times, they probably had 3 or 4 more plays just like that where they just mishandled snaps and had to drop on the ball and lost significant yardage. And
Northern Illinois lost to the Salukis, y'all. Salukis are an FCS team. They're not even a Division 1A team.
Did you guys answer that question on Nebraska?
I
game?
just said
Okay.
something.
All right, because I'm doing this.
I
I'm
mean,
sorry.
I've talked about Nebraska. I don't know anything about Northern Illinois.
They
haven't
lost to the
watched them.
Salukis 14-11. They did beat Boston College, but how bad is Boston College?
We got a lot of fan participation this evening. I like this.
Okay.
Matt says, should the NFL ban turf?
I read that about the, that they think the turf had a lot to do with Aaron Rodgers' Achilles injury.
That's the first thing that came to my mind. He's not used to playing on the turf, but he is used to it. I mean, he's played in the NFL long enough.
They play Detroit every year.
Yeah.
They play Minnesota every year.
Right.
Those have been indoor turf fields for years. No, I don't think banning, but you see injuries like that happen on grass. So it's not, who was the other kid? Who's the other guy that tore their Achilles? J.K. Dobbins for Baltimore. He tore his Achilles. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a grass field. He tore his Achilles. Deontay Johnson pulled a hamstring making a cut on a grass field in Pittsburgh. It happens. Is it unfortunate? Yes, but it happens. If I was the Jets, I'd be more mad at the offensive lineman who whiffed on the cut block, and Rodgers had to kind of slip trying to avoid him and tore his Achilles on the play. I mean, that was worse. Don't blame the field. It's a cop out. Just unfortunate. Just an unfortunate injury.
Yeah. So now what is it? The Jets have to give back. What do they have to give back?
The Jets
fourth
will
round
give a
draft?
second
round.
The Jets give Green Bay a second round pick instead of a first round pick next year.
Okay.
And I do believe that the Green Bay gets a fourth or something in return, or the Jets get a fourth or something in return. But I'm not 100% sure on that. But yeah, that trade looks better and better for Green Bay right now. By the way, Jordan Love looked great last week.
He did look good. Yeah.
That was one I gave y'all. I said Green Bay would win the game easily.
You know what I like?
And
Put me down for another NFL pick on the back of that page you got going there, David.
Okay, hold on. On the back of this page, we're gonna start keeping track every week, and I'm gonna post.
I'm gonna say he's gonna take Green Bay, and I'm gonna be betting.
No, I'm gonna take the over 42.
Green Bay over.
No, it's 40.5. It's moved down. It is. It's 40.5. Opened up at 42.
You like the over?
Yep. Give me the over.
Got it.
Atlanta overs are usually pretty good bets at home.
Yeah.
I like betting overs on. I do like betting.
What side did
overs
you
on
like
turf?
in that game?
I'll probably be on Atlanta.
Are you?
Yeah.
What do you
Aaron
see out?
Jones? Aaron Jones had.
What do you see out of Atlanta?
Aaron Jones injured his hamstring. From what I'm reading, Christian Watson probably still is not going to play this week. Atlanta's defense is way better than the Bears. I guess this is going to be a home game indoors on turf. I think Aaron Jones is a huge loss if he doesn't play.
All right. So Matt says, I don't know all the ins and outs, but apparently not all turf is the same. Whatever turf they had for the Super Bowl and is in New York is worse in terms of injury. And yes, the Jets defense looked amazing as we talked about before the season. We knew they are going to be good. It's
Yeah,
gonna be
I mean, when I made the bet on the Jets to win the division and on the Jets and won, that was I said
Hey,
they
beat Buffalo.
have the best defense in the
They're
division.
1-0.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. You Zach Wilson's your quarterback.
You got any comment on that? Apparently, the turf is worse in New York.
Well, I mean, the Jets and the Giants both play in the same stadium, just like the Rams and the Chargers do. I don't know enough to make a. I don't know enough to make it.
Zach Wilson cannot throw the ball.
No,
Not consistently well, anyway.
no. That's why I said. I mean,
he makes some good throws, and then it's so bad the rest of it.
I loved my Calvin Ridley prop bets after week 1, and then I hate my Garrett Wilson ones because he sucks.
Pat Mahomes can throw.
The one thing
some of the receivers, they can't catch it. Yeah. He doesn't have any star receivers.
The one thing
they need to play Justin Ross, folks.
Yeah.
The one thing I will
From
say
Clemson.
about
Yeah. Hey,
shocker.
go watch the 2018 season and see how good Justin Ross is.
The one thing I'll say about Zach Wilson is at least he didn't turn the ball over last week. That was a major improvement over him last year.
Yeah.
He didn't lose the game, which he was. There were a lot of games he lost last year. He didn't lose the game, and he let that defense do its job, and the defense won the game. So
wait a second, he did have a pick the other night.
It wasn't a bad one though.
But it was a pick. He did throw.
Well, he
one.
might have threw one, but I mean, it wasn't.
I believe he did throw.
It
one.
wasn't.
Hey Matt, do you know that? I think
it wasn't a
Wilson had one pick.
It wasn't anything where I was like, oh my god, I don't think it was a really bad play.
Yeah, he threw one.
That's right, David.
Yeah.
The chat is fired up tonight. I like it.
Threw one.
Keep
pick.
it coming, guys. We're having fun. That's what we try to do.
140
anyway, right?
yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick.
All right, hey, got some more questions for you. You ready, guys?
Sure.
All right, here we go. I lost them, so I'm going to ask this person to resend them.
The Falcons get Cordell Patterson back this week too.
That's nothing. That's a nothing. That's not even a big deal.
I lost the
Beyond-
questions.
I would say Brees Hall looked incredible Monday night. That was a saving grace for the Jets in that game, was how good Brees Hall looked. Yeah, I mean they ran for I think they ran for about 200 yards in that game. Darn close. I mean that's going to be the Jets' formula for success, is running the football and that in that defense.
My Bears win total is looking safe.
Had 8 touchdowns last year. Patterson did.
Yeah, well, he wasn't. Now he's the third string running back. He
Yeah.
He was a starting.
Well,
running back
they're
the
not
first
going to
10
use him
weeks.
at running back though. They're going to use him in that joker position they're calling it,
Yeah, well,
where they're going to move him all over the
the
field.
problem is Bijan's a better receiver than Patterson, and he's a better running back than Patterson, so he won't see the field that much.
Yeah, Bijan did look good Sunday.
I bet his over on his yards. How the heck that team is up 14 points and doesn't give. He had 1 carry from the 10-minute mark of the third quarter. He had 9 carries and 55 yards at the 10-minute mark of the third quarter, and I needed 71 and a half was his total, and he got 1 carry and 1 yard the rest of the way in a game they were ahead. I wanted to just start throwing stuff. I was so aggravated. But, Tyler Algier had a nice game. But, man, I guess they really made sure they didn't want to use Robinson too much in the early part of the season. I don't know, but that was painful to watch for me.
We do have some action kicking off tonight. Memphis and Navy getting ready to kick off. And I did put a little alternate ticket together for that. Memphis -6.5. Line was 13.5. Over 43.5 on the total. And each team over 4.5 points in the first half.
John, I just want to show you this.
That's
you don't need
2
to
to 1.
comment on it. I just want to show you this.
But that's your 2-horse?
No. Just say 8 to 1, 23 to 1, right? 8 to 1 morning line, 23 to 1.
Yeah. Oh, he won.
Yeah, they're,
8-1,
they're
23
showing
to
each
1.
other some horse
Horse
racing,
racing, yeah.
stuff.
8-1 morning line went up at 23 to 1.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we.
Nice,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
I'm just saying. I didn't
yeah.
have it. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
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 Just something we talked about earlier. That's all.
But
Okay.
yeah, I got Memphis minus an alternate, over 43 and over 4.5 each team in the first half. So that paid 2 to 1. So Navy has not looked good to start the year. Blown out in the Ireland game. They struggled against an FCS team in Wagner. So they win the game 24 to nothing. But it was ugly on the midshipman side. So yeah, that's getting ready to kick off now.
All
So a
right, here.
little sweat in that game to start the week.
We got questions. Here we go. Should I start the Bucks defense against Chicago, or should I start Daniel Jones or Anthony Richardson this week?
Ugh. Ouch.
Ouch is
What's
right.
his? What's
I
his,
didn't like it either.
Neither one.
I did. Yeah, neither one.
Yeah.
I
You'll
mean,
start
I think
Sam Howell.
I think
mean-
that's what I said.
I mean, I would start. Boy, I would start Richardson over, assuming Richardson's knee. Everything I'm seeing is that Richardson's going to go this week, so I would start Richardson against Houston between the two of those. Even though Daniel Jones, best offensive lineman, looks like he may be out for the season, and the Giants didn't have a good offensive line anyway. And Darren Waller's hamstring's kind of balky, and they couldn't do anything offensively last week. They couldn't protect him at all. Now he'll get more time against Arizona. Arizona doesn't have the pass rush or the defensive pressure that Dallas and Claiborne could throw at him. I would go Richardson, and I would hope I'd have a better option than Tampa's defense.
Not Daniel Jones, so yes. He won't be as bad as he was last week.
He can't be.
No. It's
You
not
Well,
possible.
have
you-
nowhere to go but up.
If you think about a lot of the top fantasy quarterbacks last week did not have good games. Burrow, obviously. Lamar Jackson did nothing. Justin Fields did not have a good game.
Well-
Mahomes had a below average game. Herbert had a below average game. Trevor Lawrence, he had a good first half, but he did nothing in the second half. It really wasn't a very good day for the elite. Jalen Hurts had a really bad game.
Well, when you have 8 noon games and then 7 of the 8 go under, you're going to have a bad fantasy day. 7 of the 8 go under. So if you were on unders, you were really loving it. You were sweeping the board almost.
Yeah, the only
If
one
you were on
the
unders.
only one that went over
Yeah.
was Indy and Jacksonville.
Yep, that was the only one.
That was the only over in the early set.
Yep. So you were setting pretty.
All right.
You were on the under.
So I'm going to see who I can pick up off the waivers. There you go.
Yeah,
Right.
I would definitely be hoping to get somebody.
You might could get Detroit's defense.
I would.
That's better than Tampa's defense, I guess.
Either Denver or Washington, and another game I expect to be very low scoring would be better options.
The Bills'
the-
defense.
I might. This might be the only time this year I say maybe the Giants' defense against Arizona would be a
Mhm.
better option.
Yeah.
I've just a couple of thoughts to
Cowboys
throw
against
out
the
there.
Jets will be a better option.
No, yeah, those two teams those defenses are gone. Those defenses won't be on the waiver wire.
He says, Sid says, should I drink a margarita, Captain and Diet Coke, or Ultra Beer to watch Eagles win tonight? You always get me with the Captain. I'm always in on the Captain.
I'm a big fan of rum.
Yeah.
So I got to go with the Captain.
John doesn't drink. So,
I don't drink.
You got 2
He
and
needs
0.
to start.
Sid, you got 2 and 0 for the Captain. You can't go wrong with the Captain.
I'll universally take John's vote by proxy 3-0 for the Captain.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with the Captain. I do like margaritas, Ultra Beer. Yeah, I'm not a beer guy, so
Me either.
yeah.
and
I mean,
don't
I'll
like
drink
tequila.
it, but I'm not a beer guy. Okay, guys, why don't we do this? Why don't we take a break for 2 minutes and come back and cover college?
Sounds
Get
good.
some picks in college. Micah Mills is going to be joining us at 7 to talk a little UFC.
Yeah,
So
sounds good. We'll see you guys in 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
I've got a golden ticket.
That's a winner!
And we are back here at DraftKings at Casino Queen on this wonderful Thursday night. Little action tonight with the NFL, Memphis Navy kicking off. So we'll see how that goes tonight. But as far as week 2 in the college football world, I think the big story was Bama goes down in T-Town.
Yep.
Bama going down at home.
I'd like to thank you for bringing up the only game I got right on Saturday. I guess if you throw enough darts out there, you might get one right. That was the only one I got right. And a lot of it was just like you called before the season. Alabama has a huge problem at quarterback.
Yeah,
And
Jalen Milrose looks as bad as it gets.
and it was as bad as it looked. He was not good. Kind of made a couple of nice throws in the second half to kind of keep them in the game, but he was the reason they were behind.
Yeah,
So-
they got 2 guys behind him. Tyler Buckner, the transfer from Notre Dame, and then the 5-star freshman who everybody thinks is going to lead them out of this mess, and Ty Simpson. But maybe I think there's a reason that Ty Simpson's not playing, and Nick Saban is in the Jalen Milroe camp. I don't think he's going to be. Excuse me. I don't think he's going to be making any abrupt changes, really. So I think Milroe's going to see the field against South Florida in a snoozer. They're 33-point favorites against a horrible South Florida team. They actually go down to Tampa to play. So it's at South Florida. So they'll beat the heck out of South Florida. But they got Ole Miss after that. And the question is, if they lose that game against Ole Miss, it's going to get downhill for the 2023 season for the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Well, I have a feeling that it was to Ole Miss, you will see a different quarterback.
Yeah.
Especially if he doesn't play well.
Yeah, well, be a little interesting to see how it shakes out Saturday against South Florida as far as the quarterback play, just how he plays, not really who they're playing. But, yeah, I think they may be in trouble if he does just enough to job. and then week 3 rolls around, or week 4 rather, rolls around, and he's still the starting quarterback for the Tide. But just an ugly offensive game from Alabama. Texas really dominated that game outside of a few plays, a few deep balls by Jalen Milroe to keep them in it. But yeah, everybody's panicking in T-Town for sure. That was the big game last week.
Yeah, this week is a snoozer. I mean, like literally one of the 3 best games on the slate this week is Kansas State and Missouri. That's literally one of the 3 best games. That's how bad it is. It's a horrific week for college football. I couldn't even sit there and point to a game I'm excited to see. You know,
Yeah, Georgia, South Carolina will be interesting.
No, well, maybe to you. I last time I saw South Carolina, they were getting run off the field by North Carolina, and Georgia just.
It's just it's a big
Georgia
spread.
didn't score.
It's a 27.5 point spread. So I mean that Georgia team's giving up 27.5 points.
I would say Tennessee, Florida. That's how weak the slate is. Tennessee, Florida.
Tennessee does have to go down to Florida
Yeah.
with Joe Milton, who.
That's one of the 3 best games of the weekend.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
We're going to see a little bit more about Joe Milton going on the road in Florida in a hostile environment.
That's how painful this weekend is. Now next week is great. I mean, now Florida State Clemson's not even one of the top 5 games on the schedule next week. That's how great next week is. So I'm just saying it'll be. You get through this week, you'll have a lot of enjoyment. I might even call in sick next Saturday. I don't. I didn't say that on the air, did I?
Yeah,
But,
he did. It's
yeah,
okay.
Oh well. But I'm just saying that's how great next weekend is.
LSU Mississippi State's a decent game Saturday.
Yeah, that's probably the 3rd best game.
LSU minus 9.5 going into Starkville, Mississippi.
Probably too many.
Yeah,
I think you'll have the cowbells ringing pretty loud down there in Starkville, and it's a game that they're looking forward to.
Yeah, I just have a hard time with Jaden Daniels. So, yeah, I'd probably take the points. I just don't know a lot about Mississippi State, so I'm not going to be excited and put Mississippi State in the lock column.
Yeah, LSU. Now they do have LSU has their best players back. They absolutely laid waste to Grambling.
Defensive guys are back,
and their running back. So those guys are back. But I'm getting 10 points at home with a pretty decent team in the SEC, and Mississippi State's a borderline bowl team. If I'm getting 10 points with that type of team, I generally want to take them, but it's not something I'd be like saying, "Oh, you got to play this."
All right, am I writing down any picks yet?
No,
not yet.
You probably won't see me give too many college picks.
I'll let you know. He says.
I'll tell you what. I'll give you one college pick. I like the over in the Virginia Maryland game, 47 points.
That's a Friday night
on
special.
Friday night. James Madison scored 35.
What is it?
Over 47.
Okay.
James Madison scored 35 on Virginia. Maryland's offense is considerably better, and they got Tua's younger brother. It's the quarterback at Maryland, and he had a couple of very good games last year, and a couple of them against really decent teams. So I think I wouldn't be stunned if Maryland put up 42 themselves.
Yeah, Maryland is kind of struggling. They struggled in the first half last week against the 49ers. And that would be the Charlotte 49ers, David, not the 49ers on the West Coast. But, they did try to struggle. They woke up in the second half, put the game away, did what they should have. But, that'll be an interesting Friday night game, a little Maryland-Virginia action. Virginia plays no defense, so I like that over as well. Put me down for that over in the lock column, David.
Over Maryland?
Lock it up.
Over in the Maryland game.
Over.
47.
Was that 47, Damien?
Yes.
Oh my God! Put it times 5. Put 5 units on it.
You can move the line.
I don't need to move.
No, move it in your advantage. Get some plus numbers.
Yeah. Okay. Put it times 5.
So how high would
times 5?
Over to what? How high would you go?
47. I don't know. Take it up to 53, 55.
Let's see what kind of price we can get on that.
Yeah, a big price.
That's the line. Big. John has now given out a line of big.
I love it.
Big. It's a
The
big
only
line.
time that Virginia hadn't looked good as an over team is the first half of the Tennessee game. First game of the year. That's the only time. And then Tennessee got going in the second half, and it was over quick for Tony Elliott's Virginia Cavaliers.
Well, speaking, we were talking about Kansas State, Mizzou. The line opened at 1.5, and Kansas State's been bet up to 3.5 in that game. We all know.
Kansas State ranked 15th right now, going to an unranked Missouri, going to Columbia. We're going to find a little bit more out about both teams.
Well, you're going to find out
Missouri's.
You're going to find out Missouri's as bad as I've said they are.
They are who they.
He's not in
I
the.
thought we were.
He's not in the Mizzou
They
column.
were.
No, like I said, that's the second worst home field advantage in the SEC. That there is almost no advantage to playing at Mizzou.
Yeah, I mean they do have some speedsters outside on the wideouts, though.
Yeah.
Luther Burden's there. They can find a way to get him the ball, get in the end zone, get some momentum going. We'll see what happens there. I don't love that game. I'm not.
Oh, I said I hate laying more than a field goal in that type of game. I just expect Kansas State to win that game. They're the better team.
Yeah.
Better coached. Mizzou probably has a little bit better athletes, maybe. But Kansas State will be much better in the trenches, and I that's more important in this type of game. Weather should be really nice.
Good forecast.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's really nice weekend.
We will not be here next Thursday evening.
We won't. Yeah.
We will be going to be 2 weeks from this evening, as John and
we'll be in Death Valley, South Carolina.
As of now, this time next week, John and I will be on the highway
heading
to South Carolina, to Death Valley.
Heading to the upstate of South Carolina.
Yeah. Long 10-hour drive. We got some horse racing on the way.
Yeah, we got a little horse racing on the way, and when we get there, we're going to try to save our season. Because this is the game, David, to save our season.
You're going to get me a T-shirt while I'm up there?
I ain't worried about no T-shirt. I'm worried about saving our season,
I never
David.
got my shirt.
I'm worried about saving our season.
The cat's wearing it.
Yeah.
I waited 7 months
I
for
definitely
this.
can't wear it because I'm allergic to cats. He knows that. He knows that. He
That's
never has to give it to me now.
Well, we waited 7 months for this. We start the year by the debacle in Durham. Now we have a chance to save our season. Big game, David.
Yeah. And I have decided I am going to pre-bet, since you can't bet in the state of South Carolina. Anyway, I don't think you can bet in any state on the way in the deep south. Tennessee, you can't? Okay.
Has the line been put out on that game yet?
No, but I have decided I will take Clemson's going to get points, right?
I think it'll be about a pick 'em.
Yeah,
You think so?
close.
I guess it'll be about a pick 'em.
Death Valley at home. Dabo don't lose at home much. And they stuck us. Guys, they stuck us with a noon game.
Yeah, he's
Can
not
you
happy
believe
about
that?
Yeah.
They stuck us with a noon game.
That's what happens when you lose to Duke.
Oh, it's unbelievable. We had to go to Tallahassee last year at night. We had to go beat them at night last year in their place.
If you wouldn't have lost,
if you would have won opening, it would have been the game of the week.
They still shouldn't stick us with a noon
game. It would have been the game of the week if you hadn't lost the first game.
They should have stuck us.
I'm just using your words.
It's still the game of the week.
Look, no, it's not.
No.
Yes, it is.
Way better games than that now this week.
We win this game, we run the table, we're in the playoff.
Yeah.
All of our goals are still in front of us. Nothing changes as far as, the playoff picture. Win this one, win the rest of them, you're in. So, Clemson playing Florida Atlantic Saturday night. So that's a night game in the Valley. So we will get to see Clemson at night. Tom Herman, if you guys remember Tom Herman, the old Texas coach, got fired at Texas. He landed in the retirement home in Boca Raton, Florida. So he landed at Florida Atlantic. So he'll be coming up to Clemson to play. 24-point favorites. Clemson 24-point favorites. So they're a little bit of a better team.
25.5 right now.
25.5, okay. But, Florida Atlantic's a better team than that Clemson played last week in Charleston Southern. Needless to say, Charleston Southern is one of the bottom FCS teams.
Yeah, and your boy had 2 of the worst turnovers ever in that game.
Yeah, he had 2 bad ones. Charleston Southern had 14 points and 0 total yards.
Yep.
That's very interesting. You have 0 total yards and 14 points. So game finished, 65-17 or whatever, So they took care of business and scored 40-something in the second half. So put it away. But yeah, we'll see how they look Saturday. Hopefully a little bit of improvement by Cade. It's an interesting line. I don't know what to think about 24.5 against Florida Atlantic Saturday. One game I do like though.
Probably a game to take the 24.5 because I don't think Clemson's going to really want to show that much for Florida State.
Yeah, especially late in the third quarter if they put it away in the first half, but they hadn't done much in the first half all year. That's what we're going to look at, is to see if we can come out firing in the first half, go into the locker room with a comfortable lead this time, so we don't have to worry about any anxiety in the second half. One game I do like, David. I'm going to take the Chickens with 27.5 points. I just don't like Georgia that much.
Who are the Chickens?
South Carolina.
Okay. Gamecocks. Okay, I got it. Right. All right. So
yeah.
You're going to take them?
Yeah, I'm going to take the 27.5 points. I don't like Georgia. Giving up 27.5.
Well, Mizzou made them eat it last year. 28.5 points, right?
Yeah. So it's in Athens, 2 hours down the road from.
Is that hard for you to do? Is that hard for you to take the Gamecocks?
Take the what?
Is it hard for you to bet them?
You're getting 27.5. They'll lose. I just need them not to lose by, more than 28. Just keep it within 27 points, Chickens.
Just move it to 28.
That's all.
Move the line to 28 to cover yourself with the hook.
Yeah. You know what I do.
John will always move that line.
I'll always buy the hook.
He'll always buy the hook.
Might even buy the 28.5.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. I don't like to buy to move it to a half because I push, and if I lose, I don't pay the extra juice. So I don't like to move it to a half, but I like to move it up to the next point.
How about win?
I know, but I'm okay with not paying the extra juice.
Yeah, I wonder
the
what
extra,
moving it a
extra
point.
Juice.
I wonder what that would be. Minus 150.
Yeah, minus 160, something like that.
For a point, for a full point?
It's generally 10 cents a half point unless it's on a key number of 3, 4, or 7.
Okay.
So he'd pay 20 cents to move it from 27.5 to 28.
Minus 130.
Probably 120. Well, I mean, I don't pay. I don't know.
To move it a whole point.
Yeah, to move it a whole point, you're
minus
paying
130.
Paying 130.
That's not bad.
No.
I still would. I want to win. Right. It lands on 4 touchdowns. I want to.
By the way, right before we get ready to hit our next break, we'll go through my baseball season-long bets.
Wait, do you have any?
That I gave.
You guys got nothing. You got one
I
game?
told you this is a college. I told you I'm staying. I was so
John,
bad in
you only got
college
2
last
games?
week. I didn't even want to give another pick.
You got 2 games.
Yeah,
That's
I'll
it.
get there. Go and tell us what you got in baseball, David.
Well,
How
if
you
you
looking on
remember
that
right,
season?
if you remember before the season, I gave you all the Cardinals under, easy winner. Gave you all Atlanta to win the division. They clinched the division yesterday.
What'd you have on that ticket?
They were plus 125. I had 200 to win 250.
Nice, very nice.
I had the Mets under 94.5. That went under
60
long ago. I had Pittsburgh over 66.5. They are now at 69 wins. So I'm 4-0, and now I got my loser. Well, it's not a loser yet, but it probably will be. I had Toronto over 90.5. They're at 80 and 68. So they'd have to go 11 and 3 in their last 14 games or something.
Let me ask you a question. How much did you cash back on the 4-0? What'd you get back on those 4 winners?
Oh, I got $850.
Nice, very nice.
So I won $850, and then I'm going to lose.
Profit $850 or collect $850?
No, that's profit.
Okay, very nice.
And then I'm going to lose, $220 on Toronto.
But your props are profitable.
So it'll be $630. Yeah, I mean, you go 4-1, and as we all know, if you watch the Sunday night game this week, you all remember I immediately bet the Giants under 8.5. I don't really have to say anything else.
Not right now.
and I expect the Giants to win this week. So,
yeah.
But
how do you like my Detroit to win the division right now? I know it's early, but to go into Kansas City and beat them.
Well, if you remember, I
Huge,
told you I thought Green Bay was going to be better than I expected, and they, last week when I picked them to beat the Bears, that I liked the way Green Bay looked. Now, Detroit caught a huge break with Kelsey and Chris Jones being out.
Yes,
Obviously,
but also
as
the
we all
game
know,
was
I bet Detroit.
also that
So-
if we weren't clear though, that game was a lot closer than it should have been. There's some huge penalties not called against Kansas City last week that got them 2 scores. So I don't think that game should have been that close.
But at the same time, Detroit looks surprisingly good. Bison, when you're down 2 of your 3 best players, that's a huge
No,
loss.
I agree. Yeah, for sure. So I
And-
caught a break, right?
Yeah.
I caught a betting break. I'll just say that. I got Detroit to win the division. And how many teams are going to go into Kansas City and beat them in that division, right? They don't all go to Kansas City, right?
No,
No, it's a couple of them. What?
2. There's 2.
Yeah, 2 and then 2 at
think
home.
I think they have Chicago at home, and they go to Green Bay and Minnesota. If
Yeah.
I remember right on
Yeah.
on the.
I
schedule.
don't think Minnesota is going to be very good this year. I think they were overrated last year.
Oh, that's why
what
I said all Minnesota. I thought was overrated last year.
Yeah.
I wanted to play the under on their total like you couldn't believe because they met all my prop bet, they met all my, like the Giants did. Where all the metrics would say play Minnesota under this year. The Minnesota met, but their total was lower than I thought it would be, and their schedule was so much softer than I was like, I just couldn't bring myself to do it. But I said one of those teams is going to be way better than I think, and I couldn't pinpoint the one I thought would be way better than I thought. So, I thought Minnesota was the least likely of the 4, but I couldn't bring myself to pull the trigger on Minnesota under. I wish I would have now, but I expect them to keep this game close tonight.
I want to change the subject with John. All right, so we're going down. We're going to tailgate in the morning,
Yeah, they
Right.
stuck us with a noon game.
noon game. So
ACC.
That'll
what
limit
are
the
we going to do?
tailgating.
You said
Great-
there's
Great job, ACC.
you said there's a lot to do down there. So what else we can do? Is there any place to visit? Anything? What are we going to
No,
do?
it's a whole atmosphere, man.
I mean, on Friday.
all the
Like, what are we going to
shops
do?
on College Avenue
Okay.
are open.
We're
That's
going to go there Friday evening.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, you haven't told me
Uh,
anything what we're going to do.
yeah.
Nothing. I just know I'm going to be in a car for 20 hours in 3 days.
Yeah, 10 hours there, 10 hours back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In between, I know I'm going to the game
Yep.
and eating some
We are
Bojangles
trying.
fried chicken.
Yeah. Well, there's 100 Bojangles on the way down there. You'll see some Bojangles you get in Nashville.
Okay.
Bojang-
Well, we'll stop. And
Yes,
get in
we will
Nashville.
get a Cajun filet biscuit with dirty rice. We will get dirty rice and gravy with Cajun filet biscuit.
God, that sounds so good.
Well, it's good. Yeah, I ain't gonna say it's not.
How's the chicken though? What's
It's
rate
spicy. It's a little
it?
spicy.
Can you get it not spicy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But how would you rate their fried chicken over the?
Fast food style fried chicken. I'd say it's above Popeyes.
Okay, I like Popeyes,
Uh,
but I like Kentucky Fried Chicken too. So
yeah.
Lee's is okay.
Yeah. I'd say it's probably my favorite fast food style. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
But you can get it not spicy or light spicy or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So we'll take care of you on the food front. David.
Yeah, I'm excited about the food.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I'm excited about the food.
Absolutely.
There's nothing better on the way down there. We got horse racing on the drive. Well,
Yep.
John's going to be driving, and I'm going to be betting.
Yep.
Betting the ponies. Bet a little Australia racing.
Yeah, I guess. When's
Yeah.
that Australia stuff?
It starts about 8 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah, but all the buggies are going. I like the buggies.
Yeah.
Those are going at 8
Oh,
o'clock too.
I'm sure we'll have several.
Yeah.
There'll be a,
I don't know if I can delve into that Australian world when I got American racing going.
Yeah, and we'll be listening to a lot of Paul Feinbaum on the way down.
Yeah. Oh, those Alabama
funny.
fans on there. Those Alabama fans on there. They're ready to just slit their throat and call it a year. They are done.
That's a good show.
They are fire Saban. The dynasty's done.
Have you ever listened to Paul Feinbaum?
They're done.
Yeah, I've listened
Very
to them.
amusing.
Yeah,
He's got some regular call-ins. I know they got to be setups.
they're not.
They have to be.
They're not. You don't know
It's
enough about it.
It's too
They're-
funny.
I know, but
It's
they're not.
too funny.
It is.
So it's ridiculous. They have to be paid.
They're
people.
not.
Are-
You can call in. Anybody can call in.
I'm telling you.
I used to be in that world where I was a regular on Prime Time with the Pac-Man, Mark Packer's show. Billy Packer, the announcer, his son had a show in Charlotte. I was a regular with all the other goofballs in Charlotte. So,
At 12 years old.
yeah, I was anywhere from 12 to 17 years old. They didn't know it at the time, but I was a kid. They met me at Carolina Panthers training camp in Spartanburg at Wofford College, and they said, "You're a kid." I said, "Oh, yeah, you never knew."
That's funny.
So, yeah, I was, as they called me on the air, a 17-year-old puberty punk. Yeah.
So what else is there to do while we're down there?
Yeah, there'll be plenty to do, but the main thing is trying to save our season.
I'm more interested in the vacation part of it and something to do. I'm
Yeah.
going to get an education on Clemson football. Not that I already don't have one.
I just want to shut everybody up, David. I'm tired of them coming. It's like for the past 3 or 4 years. So hear me out. For the past 3 or 4 years, they sharpen their knives, is what they do, and they sit back and wait on Clemson to lose their 1 or 2 games a year, and then they get their knives ready when they lose 1 game a year. It's comical. All these other crap schools are losing. How would you like to be Jimbo Fisher in Texas A&M? How would you like to be Miami every year that loses 7 games? All these
They're
other
calling
crap
for Jimbo
schools.
Fisher right now, head right
Yeah,
now.
it's just, it's comical. LSU wins in 2019, and their program goes to crap, and it still really hasn't recovered. So, we have one of the most consistent programs in America.
All
we
I know
win
is
10 games every year.
if
If
Florida State wins this game, it's going to be a lot quieter on the radio show and your trip home.
Well, the trip home would be horse racing anyway, so I'll distract them no matter what.
No.
But hey, question. This is a good question. I didn't even know this existed. Has anybody watched the Kelsey documentary yet on Prime? I didn't even know there was one.
I have no
it's
interest in it.
It's a repeat of the ESPN one, where they chronicle his family with
I
his
haven't seen
brother,
it. Maybe I have.
his
Maybe I have
mom.
seen it.
I think they
I
both
don't
went to
have any.
Cincinnati.
So is it a 30 for 30?
It's chronicles the Kelsey family.
Okay. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, it's good. It's not a bad one. It's good. It's worth a watch. I'd say worth a watch.
I'll skip that.
Really?
That's not something that'll interest me.
Ah,
I don't really like I don't like the Kelseys anyway. I think Travis is just a jackass. Everything I've ever read about him isn't good. He's notoriously cheap. He doesn't tip the people that wait on him or serve him, and he brags about it.
Wow.
I don't like people like that.
Wow. I didn't know that.
I mean, before I worked in the service industry, I was always a decent tipper. I mean, I'm a lot better than I was before I worked in the service industry. But when you rely on tips, and you get a multi-millionaire like that who brags about not tipping people,
yeah, that's
when he
bad.
has a huge bill, that's not the guy.
Which one
I
is
want
it?
nothing. It's Travis is the one that's notoriously he doesn't tip, and he's proud of it.
Yeah, it's the old
proud.
adage.
Well, you've heard
treat
the story
people
of
as
no
you would
tip
like
and
them
Pippin.
to treat you.
Yeah, well, yeah,
Right.
well, that's why. Well, I mean, I don't have to worry about Scottie Pippen. I mean, there's a couple people that come into our casino who aren't very nice to certain dealers.
Yeah.
I'm not going to mention anybody's name in particular, but there's one particular player who's pretty famous, and evidently I'm the only person he tips, and I think I'm the only person he tips because we have mutual friends. So he doesn't want it. He doesn't want that reputation among my mutual friends. But I've never heard of him tipping anybody else. So
Treat people how you would want them to treat you, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm a big believer in the golden rule.
Yep.
Yeah.
So no, I have. I mean, I don't wish Kelsey to be hurt or anything, but I wasn't shedding any tears, even though he was on one of my fantasy teams. I wasn't shedding any tears that he was hurt. I mean, it's just one of those things. I hate to see anybody get hurt or have anything bad happen to anybody. But certain people, it would bother me more.
I'm trying to get an ETA on Micah. He says he's on his way. Not that we're in a hurry for him, but we've got plenty of time. But
All right, lock it up on another pick here, David.
all right,
Get out the old pencil,
I'm ready.
and let's put one in the lock column.
I'm ready.
I'm going to take under 58.5 Tennessee, Florida. Joe Milton going into a hostile environment. Florida's offense is pitiful. And when I say pitiful, I mean pitiful.
It's 58.5.
Is it? He said
58 and a
58.
half.
Okay.
Somehow that's 58.5.
Well, that's a high. That seems awful high, but yeah, that's what it is. I'll
That's
be
what
damned.
it says, 58.5.
That seems like a pretty good bet to me. I won't. I'm not gonna piggyback on them, but I might play it myself. So,
Well, that's
Uh,
kind of piggybacking.
The
I'm
rambling
not
wreck
gonna-
of Georgia Tech going into Ole Miss, 63. I don't know. I think I'd stay away from that one.
David agrees with you that harness racing is much more entertaining than Australia thoroughbred.
Oh,
racing.
really? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I do not.
Hey, you can. Some of those long shots have came through in the buggies, David. They
Yeah,
have.
there's-
It seems like more of those come through than the real races. You know, that's what it seems like. I don't know if that's true. Is that true? No.
how big a favorite's Texas over Wyoming?
30. Big number.
I mean,
Wyoming has already beat Texas Tech this
yeah,
year.
that seems like a big line in that game. I mean, Texas coming off the emotional
around.
game against Alabama. Wyoming's not brutal.
Yep.
You know what? Give me Wyoming plus the 30.5.
Okay.
I like the squeeze play game sometimes. You know, like whoever the hell's playing Notre Dame this week.
Central.
Yeah, Central Michigan. I think Central Michigan plus the
taking that too?
35. Yeah, I'm
Central,
gonna play this. I'm gonna play all three squeeze games. Central Michigan plus
hold on,
35,
go slow. Okay.
and give me Colorado State plus the 23.
Ooh. Taking the points.
Colorado State plays Oregon next week,
Or Colorado plays Oregon, you mean?
or Colorado, excuse me, plays Oregon next week, and then they play USC. So, I just if they're gonna lay an egg against somebody, I think this would be the game. You know, where they're getting ready, even with the Colorado State coach kind of pissing off the Colorado team with his comments, but you know, we'll see.
We'll see.
All right,
Jake,
how many I got down there? You got me
You've
for?
got 3.
All right. I'm going to put my fourth one. Row, row, row your boat. PJ Fleck and the Gophers going into Chapel Hill. Not so fast on the Gophers, though. We're going to go UNC.
What are we doing?
We're going to go UNC -7. We're going to go with the
7.5.
Tar Heels to take care of business.
It's 7.5. I ain't giving them the half on that.
I thought it moved. Let me check.
Just said 7.5.
He'll buy it down.
Yeah,
John will
but
buy it
we're
down.
not buying it down on the picks, David. Let me make sure here.
Are we going to go to break so he can?
Yeah. You ready, John? We can give more picks later.
Huh?
You ready to go?
I
to
want to
break?
see if it's 7.5.
Okay.
It is 7.5. I just saw it on mine on Scores and Odds.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Well,
All right, we'll put it down as 7.5.
I got it.
Um,
I am not giving any college football picks. That is not what I do. So
I didn't really want to, but
Yeah.
I consider myself more of an NFL guy. But I threw a couple out there just because.
yeah, why not?
So,
All right.
all right, I guess we're gonna get ready to head out on break here, and
Micah Mills
Micah
joining
Mills
us.
is gonna
Yep.
sit in
Micah's
for me for the next segment, and he's gonna talk MMA and anything
Some-
else that
some
comes to his
college
mind,
football.
college football as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, let's take
Sounds
a
good.
quick
We'll
break.
take a
I'll see you in
2-minute
half
break.
an
We'll be
hour.
back, guys.
Took the L.
And we are back here at DraftKings at Casino Queen. Clemson, John, David, and Micah is joining us.
Thank you for having me,
Nice
boys.
to have you, Micah. It's been a while.
Yes, sir. Been too
Yeah.
long.
Last-
a lot
glad
of
to
radio,
have
but
you.
it's been a minute since I've been on the stream. So
Yeah.
thank you for having me back,
Yeah,
as
oh, yeah.
always.
We'd love to have you back every week if
We
you could.
appreciate it. We appreciate it.
Absolutely.
He's been
We-
hanging out with Evan.
Yeah.
Evan
Okay.
Elder.
Yeah, he was supposed to be here tonight, but he's at Perler Wrestling. He's helping out with some of their camps, and so shout out to Perler Wrestling, one of the top wrestling institutions here in the Midwest. So he said hopefully next week. That's the plan, and we'll let you know moving forward. But he is back in town and hopes to be jumping on pretty regularly. So looking
like
forward to
it.
that.
Like to hear
Looking forward
that.
to it. But okay, so Clemson, we got some catching up to do.
Yeah.
Now I know we were doing some texting after and during the Duke game.
Yeah.
How we feeling right now?
We got to save our season next week.
How we feeling?
We got to save our season on the 23rd
Who
of
do you have?
September.
Who do you have?
That's the Florida State game.
We're gonna be there.
Yeah.
We are off next Thursday. We are going.
Ooh. That's this coming
A week from tonight.
Wow.
We'll be on the road to Death
September
Valley.
20.
Oh my goodness.
At this time next week, we are on the road.
Take as much video as you can so that we can clip it up and do a little
Yeah.
vlog journey of
I am definitely gonna
of
get
your-
John in action in his element.
So are you guys driving?
Well, it's not just me, David. There'll be about 83,000.
Yeah, but you're the one
there,
I care
man.
most
Of your
about.
best friend.
Micah, they stuck us with a noon game, man.
That's a beating, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, it's not
we
the
had to
11
go.
a.m.
We had to
game.
go to Tallahassee and beat their ass last year at night, and then they stick us with a noon game.
That is why do they do stuff like that? I don't get it.
I don't get it either.
I don't really understand the whole system of how teams are chosen and the time slots they
Yeah,
are.
it's the screw job was in on that one.
You
But
think-
hey, we'll get some biscuits ready, get the breakfast going, and get our ankles taped,
that just
and
means
we'll be ready, man.
that just means you get to
I'm not getting my ankles taped.
that just
You
means
can
you
get your
to
ankles
drink
taped.
from.
Gotta save our season. Get your voice ready.
That means you either get to celebrate all afternoon
Yeah,
or
yeah.
drown your sorrow.
Should I bring
One way or the other.
earplugs?
No,
Why would
that
you bring
is-
earplugs?
that is
I have a
downy
feeling it's going to
soft.
be like super loud.
It will, but
Everybody's going to be super loud. You better be super loud if you want us to win.
yeah, I
Alright.
agree.
So right here.
What do we got here? Missed a show last week in Vegas on the. Oh, Blau put in on Strickland. That is crazy.
Plus
Hey,
650, man.
you know what? Respect to anyone who put in on Strickland. I think most of the MMA community did not see this coming, but
Fresno play last
Israel Adesanya, the last style bender, took a big loss to someone that is pretty well hated by the UFC and really like the sport as a whole because he's a very loudmouth kind of I don't even know what you'd call it.
Eastern Washington.
Arrogant.
Yes,
Barely won.
and politically as
They
incorrect
beat
as you
Purdue
can
and
be,
they won.
and so
Easy to root against.
yes,
Okay.
and so no one saw this coming, him winning this fight, Sean Strickland. But the reality was, Izzy came into the fight, I think, a little bit arrogant, a little bit cocky. He was the minus 1,000 favorite to win this fight.
Woo! Minus
Something
1,000.
like that. I know Strickland came in at plus 600, 650 or something. What did Blau say? Plus
650.
650. So I think Izzy was minus close to 1,000 and just didn't show up. Just
How did Strickland win?
decision, but it was a dominant,
Okay.
it was a dominant performance.
Was that a
It was
3-rounder or a 5-rounder?
5-round? That,
Wow.
that was for the title.
Okay.
And
I didn't watch
Izzy's, I mean, he's one of the top tier in that
Minus
element.
750 plus 650.
750. Okay.
I was going to
Is
say
it, okay,
800.
so it might have moved, but I think that when I announced the numbers the last time we went on, I'm pretty sure that it was, or when I saw it latest, it was closer to 1,000. So it must have moved a little bit.
Okay.
But
Plus 650 is a big number.
yeah, and he dominated the entire fight. I don't even really know what else to say about it other than like it seemed as though the normal fighter that you see in Israel Adesanya did not show up. But real quick, can we talk? Because I've been itching to talk football, and I haven't had
John
my
loves it.
outlet. So
Yeah, there it
we'll
is.
we'll get into the MMA segment in a bit. But John, what's going on in your neck of the woods? Not just
Yeah.
Clemson wise, but what are your thoughts on week 2 of football?
Week 2 was
Of
good.
of college
It was a
football.
good week in
Yeah.
week 2. Yeah, big story, obviously. The
Coach Prime.
Bama goes down in T-town.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I mean, that's music to my ears, baby.
Yeah, and they got quarterback problems. We touched on that a little bit earlier. That was the big story in week 2.
Well, was it? Or I feel like the Buffs was maybe even a bigger story.
Yeah, Colorado was a big story. That wasn't a surprise to me. I thought they
No.
were going to take care of business against
Yeah.
Nebraska. I don't know why that line was so close.
I guess their momentum right now seems to be the story. Did you watch that Coach Prime documentary? There's a new
Oh no, there's a Coach Prime
documentary.
documentary.
Yeah, it's just called, I think, Coach Prime or Prime.
Oh, okay.
It's on Netflix or Amazon, one of those.
Yeah,
HBO.
okay, yeah.
But I watched the first episode, and I'll tell you this: it is proof that coaching goes much further than X's and O's and recruiting, and it's very evident that while he was able to bring in some really high level talent into, because it really covers more of the Jackson State program,
Okay.
and it just shows like how when you invest the right way into your kids and you're hard on them, but you're also supporting them and encouraging them and serving them. Like I got nothing but respect for Coach Prime. What a just awesome dude all the way around.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out. He's
You
got
need
them
to take a
moving.
look. I mean,
He's got the Buffaloes moving.
and you know what I like about it too is we haven't had a lot of the flashy coach, right? In college football, at least not in a while.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about Saban, you think about whoever else is at the top, top of the echelons of college football, Dabo. It's a very different thing than a guy who's running out of the tunnel with a big gold chain on and the gold sunglasses, and
Mhm.
I kind of like the spirit behind it. Like
Yeah,
he's
yeah. That's
it's
just
very
who he
it's
is,
a
man.
brand, right?
It's not fake. That's who Dion is.
He's that guy.
Yeah,
He's
Dion
him.
was one of my earliest memories as a young football fan. I was 5 years old. I went to a Clemson Florida State game, saw him run the opening kickoff back.
That's pretty. You know what? That's actually
It was
awesome.
one step to the sideline, a step to the middle, and see ya.
Is he the best athlete ever?
You know, gosh, when you say that, Bo Jackson just comes to mind.
Right. Agreed. Obviously.
Bo is just such a
Hey, I agree. War Eagle, baby. War damn Bo.
yeah. Micah, the Auburn alum.
That's right.
So,
War Eagle.
yeah.
War Eagle. Hey, shout out to my Tigers. I just, in preparation for tonight, I rewatched the Auburn Cal game.
Yeah.
What an abomination of a game that was. Did you see
Yeah, it
any
was
of
a
it?
sloppy game.
Oh, so ugly.
Sloppy,
we don't
sloppy,
have-
sloppy.
You know what? We have the one problem that I insisted we not have because we have it seemingly year in and year out. We're in week 3 of the football season and we don't know who our quarterback is. That is a problem. Like, we don't know who the guy is. We got no flow, no momentum, nothing on offense. We should have lost that game. If it hadn't been for our defense, shout out to them stepping up. But if it hadn't been for that, we would have lost that game by 30 points.
Let's see. Who do they have this week?
Samford, I think.
Oh, okay, Cupcake this week.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then next
And
week
then
is
they go to
A&M
the
away.
They go to
A&M away.
a bleeding, bruising, terrible A&M team.
What are your thoughts on that?
They are who we thought they were. They're just everybody thinks this recruiting class is going to come together. Like you were saying about Dion, how to build a program. This is how not to build a program.
It's unbelievable.
It's,
It's like out of a horror movie. It's like the opposite of a fairy tale.
this is how you have the number one recruiting class and just
How
fall
do
to
you?
crap.
It boggles the mind to me as someone who dabbles in high school coaching to not be able to take better advantage of this amount of talent. And the same thing with the Auburn play calling this past week. And I really am all in on Hugh Freeze, but I will say the play calling has just been atrocious. And the utilization of talent, to me, is across the board not great at the highest. It could be better. But there you
Yeah,
go.
I mean, it's, take it week by week with
Yeah.
Auburn. That's all
Wow.
we can do.
Yeah.
Move past the cupcake. Then you go to A&M in a game you're going to be favored in, I think. I
You
mean,
think so?
I would favor them. A&M looks so bad
Yeah.
defensively, bonehead plays. They look undisciplined.
I think we could lose another ugly game to A&M for sure. Or I'm sorry, we could win another ugly game to A&M.
Yeah, I know what's going on the road. They'll probably be 3 to 7 point dogs, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't put them as dogs.
But also
I got more
Kyle
faith
Field.
in Hugh Freeze than I do Jimbo Fisher.
Well, Kyle Field is it's no joke. Playing there is for real.
Yeah, I mean, they'll be in an atmosphere.
Yeah.
But if there's one thing about this Auburn team, if they can play those sloppy games, a team that wants to play sloppy games in a big atmosphere will have an advantage versus a team that relies on scoring a lot of points and going fast.
Correct.
I don't think
Correct.
Auburn's going to rely on scoring a lot of points and going fast.
No, very much not. And the issue that I have with the Auburn offense right now is that it takes everything going right for us to score. I mean, for us to put points on the board, everything has to go right versus a team like, call it like a Georgia where everything has to go wrong for them to not score. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
We just we haven't put it together yet. We don't know who our QB is. It's a problem. And when you go into week 3 and you're still, I don't believe, and you heard this here first, but I do not believe in the 2 quarterback system. It does not work. Period. Because the minute that one of the quarterbacks starts doing anything wrong, then everybody, the fans, the communities, the boosters, the administration, they're all now calling for. And so now not only are you holding the quarterback's feet to the fire, but you're also holding the coach's feet to the fire. And then that just loses confidence of everyone. Then you have an off game, and then all of a sudden the team is starting to think that because they've read the headlines. I don't believe in a 2 QB system, which they're trying to do right now with Peyton Thorne and my goodness, sorry, I'm having a brain fart, but I just don't believe in it. Have you ever seen a 2 quarterback system work?
Yeah, no, not really.
It's brutal.
No.
Maybe that's
LSU why Dabo in 2018 he made a decision.
Yeah.
With Kelly Bryant and Trevor Lawrence.
Right.
You got to make the decision.
Yeah.
And to Dabo's credit, he's the one that allowed Kelly Bryant to transfer because
Right.
there was a rule at that point: is if you play after the 4th game, you cannot count that year as a year. You have to set out the next year.
Right.
So he let him know after the 4th game that we're going to go ahead and start Trevor.
Yeah.
So he could go ahead and transfer.
Which
if he didn't let him know that, then
well, and that was kind of pre-portal days, right? I mean, that was pre-NIL, all that stuff.
Yep.
Which I never really got your full take on the NIL. What you think that's?
No, it's tough to tell somebody they can't sell something. I mean,
Right.
I guess you could. They did for 100 years.
Yeah.
It's their world. If you want to live in their world, you want to live in anybody's world. You want to live in their house. You'll play by their rules.
Right.
There's always that.
What is?
But it's tough to tell somebody they can't sell their shirt. They want to sell their shirt. If they want
Like
to do.
watching the Johnny Manziel documentary.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
Yeah.
So, like, it's a shame that he made that university so much money throughout the years, and like, he didn't get any of that, did he? I mean, to my knowledge, he didn't get any of like the university money.
No.
So, because he couldn't sell his jersey, now he was
He
doing
had to
it
do
on
everything
the side.
under the table.
Right, he was doing it on the side, which I'm, whatever, break the rules. I don't
He had to
condone
break the rules and hope to not get caught.
Right, and he did, and then he got the tiniest slap on the wrist that you can have, but at the same time,
He got suspended for a half a game
against Duke or something.
Rice.
Thank you. No, they played Duke in the
bowl game. They played in the bowl game.
Chick-fil-A,
that
I
year.
think, which was a
the
crazy
Chick-fil-A
game, by
bowl
the way.
game.
Do you remember that game?
It was a back and forth, high
New Year's Eve
scoring,
game.
crazy game.
It was a crazy. Like, they came out, Duke came out like and dominated them for the first half.
Yeah.
And Mike Evans was losing it. That was a really good A&M team that should have performed better than that. So
Yeah, but it's got the hangover effect. That's why I think it's going to be hard for Caleb Williams to win the Heisman again. It's just hard to win it twice. People don't win that thing twice.
No.
I don't know if it's the NFL mindset. It's the I'm going to cruise and I'm just going to wait for the draft and my paycheck.
So much of college football success is like, it's weirdly the team and the people in place that put you in a position to be successful, but also there just seems to be a magic about guys that win the Heisman, right? Like to win the Heisman, you have to have a magical year.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Yeah.
And like
Everything's got to
and
go
the
right.
thing is, like, that doesn't happen twice in a row.
Well, yeah, I think a lot of these guys coast too.
Yeah,
Just think they
for
put
sure.
it in neutral and
For sure. And do you
get ready for the league.
blame them? I don't know. I mean,
If that's what they want to do, that's what they
Yeah.
want to do. But it makes it hard to
it still sucks, though.
ring that Heisman against guys that are hungrier than you in your rearview mirror. So that's what kind of seemed like happened to A&M and Johnny Manziel that year, is they were just kind of in neutral. A&M did not have him in a disciplined format. He was not in a
No.
program
No.
of discipline.
That was the other thing that I was wondering. Is like, you got Cliff Kingsbury there, who's one of the best to ever do it, at least from an offensive
mind. Yeah.
But like, how can he not at least find somebody to be like, hey, you're gonna tie a string to Manziel's backpack, and wherever he goes, you go, and you let him have fun and do his thing, but like, just make sure he doesn't do anything too dumb.
The thing
and-
is, there was no consequences for his behavior.
No,
That's the problem.
no, and that's
And he knew that. He's going to push the envelope and see how far he can push it to open it. There's no consequences.
and he did that until he got to Cleveland, and then there was consequences,
Hmm.
and we know the story.
Yep,
So,
absolutely. But we had a good week too, betting wise.
did you?
Absolutely.
How'd you hit?
We were all over Kansas. A little Friday night special. They took care of business against Illinois. Illinois lost everybody. They're going to have a down year this year. They're going on the road to Kansas. That was 28-7 at the half. We didn't even have to sweat that one.
Who's on your watch list right now?
Watch list for like
Team to watch, and team and player to watch out for.
well, I mean, I've always kind of been on. I think Kansas will go to another bowl game, which is big for them.
Okay.
Talk about Kansas beating Illinois, no problem there. It's 3-point favorites.
But any standouts over the first 2 weeks that you're like, whoa, didn't see that coming, or other than
I think Penix, Michael Penix Jr. at Washington is everything that we thought he was.
Yeah.
He may be in New York for that Heisman
You
ceremony.
think so?
Yeah.
That'd be
Anybody
cool
had
to
any
see a
doubts about
guy,
him
yeah.
can put those away. That guy looks phenomenal.
The problem is, I feel like Washington is always like they keep climbing closer and closer
Yeah.
towards that end, which is good. That means the program is growing. But I feel like they tend to lose a game that loses a guy a chance at New York.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
You seem to see that a lot with teams that are outside of the SEC and.
I think everybody's big on Bo Nix. I'm not really big on Bo Nix. I wasn't last year. I don't know how that's going to change.
You know how I feel about Bo Nix.
Yeah.
The
former Auburn quarterback.
Former Auburn Tiger. I mean, I don't know how I feel about him, to be honest. I mean, I thought we could have used him a lot better for sure at Auburn, but I don't think he's New York material.
Yeah, I'm just not real big on Bo Nix. I'm not big on Jaden Daniels at LSU. I don't think he's going to be as good as people think he is. I think we've seen a little bit of that in the Florida State game. They opened the year. Kansas State going on the road to Columbia, Missouri this week. 3-point spread there. That's going to be an interesting game. So I'm not going to be on either side. It's a tough game to pick. I think it's a game that Mizzou needs more than Kansas State needs. So.
Agreed. Yeah.
They need to get Luther Burden going and try to find some momentum for him this weekend. A game that I hammered Saturday was a 20-point spread in Chapel Hill. This game's always close. App State and North Carolina, it was a 20-point spread. I took App State plus the 20 points. That game went into overtime.
Well, that's kind of it seems like a no-brainer. I feel like I
Yeah.
feel like betting against App State is always a bad idea, just because nobody wants to
They
play
gave
them.
20
right?
points, Micah.
I know that's what I'm
20.
saying, but nobody wants to play them. Who wants to play App State? They're like everyone's kryptonite,
Right. Yeah.
especially after the Tar Heels coming off that big win.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
I could see how you have like a wild week of partying at North Carolina,
Yeah.
and then
A little bit, as
little bit
Saban
of
says, a
dip.
little bit of that rat poison.
Exactly. And
Everybody
then a
telling you
little-
how good you are.
And then a little dip. Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Are we going to take a quick break or?
Yeah, let's take a quick little
Okay.
2-minute break. And when we get back, any fights this weekend?
Yeah, but they're not anything I'm overly excited about.
Yeah.
We'll cover them real quick. I got a couple little bets that I want to throw in there, but it's nothing major. We got some other stuff coming up.
Yeah,
So,
sounds good. We'll take
we'll
a quick
cover it.
2-minute break and we'll be back in 2 minutes, guys.
All right.
And we are back here at DraftKings at Casino Queen. Damian back joining us here. Mike is going to close it out with us as well. Not much going on this weekend in the fight world.
Not a ton.
Little tidbit, though.
Not a ton. We do have a couple of fights that are upcoming, but the
Any word from our boy if he's got his fight scheduled yet?
Evan Elder.
Evan?
So he was supposed to join us this week. He had a wrestling camp that he's training at upcoming or tonight, so he couldn't make it, but he would like to make it either next week or the following. So he's very much interested. Scheduling, it's looking like early next year is going to be his next fight.
Okay.
And then it's TBD on his opponent and all that kind of thing. But I think he's going to be ready to go, prepared, and it's nice that he's going to be to and from St. Louis, so we'll have a lot more opportunity to shoot the shit with him.
Yeah, it was nice to see him get the win.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't it? It's fun.
Yep.
There's
Especially
nothing
after
I
getting
would.
cut that first time and being disqualified.
Yeah, there's nothing. I cannot wait for the day that we get to go out there and watch him compete. That's
Yeah.
going to be a special day for all of us fans of Evan Elder. So shout out to our favorite UFC lightweight. But the only thing that I was going to touch on a little bit more was this Israel Adesanya loss that we had mentioned.
The minus 1,000
Correct.
loser.
And
Oh,
I wanted
man.
to just re-bring that up one more time because we hadn't really touched on the human element of the fight game
Yeah.
and how it's so rare that everyone always shows up 100%. You see it all the time, and I see it more as someone who coaches high school kids,
Yeah.
where
Sure.
you can just tell when someone's having an off night.
Yep.
And that was very much the case. But let's address some of these chats here.
Yeah, we got some chats coming in here. Matt says, I thought so also, which is why I took her. Hollered at plus money seems good. And Roses, if you pick a round, you can get a much better number, especially since I think he loses if it goes 3.
Agreed. Yeah, I 100% agree. I think it goes 3 myself. And let me see what you said about Shevchenko.
David says Shevchenko currently at minus 175 on DraftKings Sportsbook website. He has no opinion on the fight, but thought she would be a bigger favorite.
I
than
agree.
that.
I think if you can take Shevchenko by decision, I need to look up that number. I apologize. But I totally agree, David. That's a really good point and something that I think Vegas is missing out on. Now, Shevchenko lost her most recent fight, and in this to the same gal, and she was dominating the fight until the 4th round. She tried throwing like kind of a crazy spinning kick, ended up getting caught in just a rear naked choke. But on all the judges' scorecards, she was winning the fight. She just ended up losing because she got caught. It happens in the fight game. If you can, I would hammer that minus 175 line. And
Yeah.
if you really can, hold on, let me see if I can pull this up. See if you can find the line on DraftKings for the UFC fight night. And see winning method for Shevchenko. Good luck. SCH.
Okay.
SCHE.
SCH.
Yeah. EVNKO. All right.
Fight to go the distance. Yeah. Let's see here.
What do we have? All right. So we got. Yeah. Shevchenko.
Wow,
yeah,
minus
and a
166 here, too.
I would take that. I mean, that's
Wow.
pretty easy money in my opinion. And then do they have for round by round or here we go.
Method of victory.
I would go Shevchenko to win by points at a plus 175. That's a no-brainer.
But if it doesn't go the distance, you lose, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So if they finish by submission or by KO or TKO, the one thing that you see a lot is even though Shevchenko was dominating the last fight, these typically, if you look at the statistics, women's fights, especially title fights, tend to go to decision for whatever reason. But it just typically in a title fight
First
for
touchdown.
women, statistically speaking, Shevchenko's the better fighter though, and I would take her at that plus 175. Or honestly, it's probably better value to just take her straight up and put 20 on her with the hopes of winning 15 back.
Yeah, maybe stack them. Maybe take that minus 165.75 money line,
Yeah.
and then take a
Outside of that,
another bet at the win by points.
there's one other. I would say the Jack Della Malena and the Kevin Holland fight is going to be an interesting one. That goes on this weekend. Just search in Kevin Holland. And there you go. What do we got here? So I would actually, I'm going to take Kevin Holland to win this. This is going to be, it's a bad take, or it's a controversial take, but Kevin Holland is one of those guys that he always beats the guys that he maybe shouldn't beat, but he loses to the guys that he shouldn't lose to.
Okay.
And as a result, he's a
Holland is a
perennial.
plus 124 money line.
I would take Holland on that. That's the move. Holland on the money line. And then if you really wanted to risk a little bit, put $10 for him to win by KO for plus 500.
Yeah.
So there you go. Those are my only two picks. The rest of them, I'm just not overly thrilled about this card. It's kind of a fight night in betweener card. And that's really all I got on the UFC stuff.
Yeah, well, we'll have a big football weekend regardless.
I can't wait. I cannot wait.
Auburn Tigers got a cupcake, and then they go to play Jimbo Fisher.
Who does Clemson have?
Florida Atlantic.
Oh.
It's kind of in between cupcake. It's a Conference USA team.
They're not a joke. They don't
Tom
roll
Herman,
over.
the old Texas coach.
Hey, they don't
He's
roll
at
over.
FAU.
Yep.
Yeah, 24-point favorites.
When did Kiffin leave FAU?
2019.
19?
Yeah.
Okay. So pre-COVID he
Yeah.
left FAU?
Yeah, I want to say
Okay.
pre-COVID. Yep.
Um,
The Lane Train was at FAU.
what do you think of his career as a whole?
Lane?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he is who we think he is. You know, I mean, nothing there. I mean, Alabama would like to have him as an offensive coordinator. He was a heck of an offensive
Do
coordinator.
you think he's
Seeing him and Saban fight all the time
That was so good.
incredibly
when Saban would just
meaningful value.
put him in a place like just put him on notice? He'd be crying on the sideline.
Saban throwing
Saban's
down
throwing
the,
everything, throwing the
uh,
headsets,
throwing the headsets.
and Kiffin's over there, just he's kind of like he got put in a corner, he got put in timeout. Type
Kiffin
deal.
made the best of Jalen Hurts as his quarterback, I think. Even though Jalen Hurts was not a good college quarterback, he was
Okay,
a mediocre
hold
college
on,
quarterback.
Hold on. He was a good college quarterback. He wasn't a great college.
And he couldn't
quarterback.
throw
was a-
the ball.
Yeah, but he was
There were
a good.
games where he couldn't throw the
I know, but you
ball.
don't need to when you play for Alabama.
I
I
guess.
could take Alabama to a 9-3 season.
You put Jalen
this
Hurts on
year.
another team, and
Oh yeah,
I mean,
don't
half
agree
of
with
the
that.
world's not going to know who
But
he
he
is.
was good. He was good enough to start for the University of Alabama. What means you're good? You're not great. He was not great. AJ McCarron, great game manager,
Yeah.
but not a great quarterback.
Yeah.
Would you say similar with Hurts? Hurts more athletic but less managerial.
Yeah, Hurts is more athletic.
More athletic but less.
No, he
Less
just
of a
it took
manager.
him a long time to throw the ball.
Yeah.
Like he had a very slow release. He aimed when he threw the ball. Like just things were missing until he got to Oklahoma and kind of sped up, and now he's in that offense in Philly in the NFL.
Don't you think so much of that has to do with his offensive coordinators or his
He was in
I guess
he was with two very good offensive minds in
system?
Lane Kiffin and Lincoln Riley.
Now his system though at Oklahoma, I feel like fed his skill set so well, and I think
Sure.
Lincoln Riley does that better than just about anybody.
Yep.
Finding the right offensive scheme around the talent they have.
Yeah. I've won a little bit of money with USC this year so far.
Yeah.
For sure. Taking some overs. I think Damien had the over on the first USC game, that San Jose State, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yep. That first USC San Jose State game.
Any teams to watch from the NFL, guys?
Well, we got some teams not to watch. Damien's got the New York Giants on his don't bet list, even though he picked them to win this week, didn't we?
Yeah, I picked them to win this week, but
Who do they have this?
Arizona.
Okay.
I gave this out 4 months ago. I said 4 months ago they played Arizona week 2, and that might be the only game they win for the first 8 games of the season. That was
It was not a good showing. Are you a Giants fan?
no.
Or-
I
okay.
just immediately looked at their schedule, saw what they had, and,
It's a
and
problem.
Their win total was 8.5.
their win
wasn't
total
it?
was 8.5, and I literally came and put $500 down the day that I saw it immediately and bet it under. And then I told everybody, and then I'm not kidding, 2 days later it was 7.5 juice under. It's like everybody just hammered the Giants under as soon as it came out.
Do you have a team that you support? Or
I'm a Steelers fan,
Oh,
but I'm
Steelers
not.
fan. Okay.
Yeah,
How's that? Are you from?
I'm from Pittsburgh
Okay.
originally, so
There you go.
I've always been a diehard Steeler fan.
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha.
disappointing performance week 1, but got to give the Niners credit. They
Got off
looked
to a
incredible.
bad start. They put themselves in a hole.
Yeah.
Well, Kenny Pickett
What
didn't
about
look good
what about
first.
the Bengals? What are your thoughts on?
I was not
What
stunned.
about
I
that?
was not
Damien thinks they're
stunned.
going to be bouncing back.
Yeah,
Think
well, last week I gave everybody Cleveland, and I said Joe Burrow hasn't practiced in a month.
Okay.
I
You saw
told
that
her,
coming?
yeah, I did.
I
I
did
did
not
see.
see
I
that.
absolutely saw that coming,
I saw.
and
I could have seen the Browns winning, but not the way they did.
yeah, I saw that one coming, and then, but
Really?
I believe Cincinnati's going to blow Baltimore out this week.
Really?
Yes,
Wow. I might have to.
I mean, I think they're going to win the game by 3 scores.
What's the line?
3. I believe
Uh,
Cincinnati wins this game easily.
I'll go $20 on Baltimore if you're interested. I'll go $20 on Baltimore. Oh snap! Hold on. I don't know if I have any cash on me, but I will have to go get some. Hold on. We're making a bet. Yeah. I'm going 20 on Baltimore.
+3.
I don't like the +3, but I don't think they're going to
A
lose
friendly
by
20.
20. A friendly 20. Fair enough.
On what? On what? On the line at 3?
I mean, if I could, can I get can you give me, do you think, a fair line, or I'll just
That's
take
what
it
the
at
line is.
All right, then I'll
you
take
either
it.
you either
All right.
take it the way
All
it
right,
is,
I'll take it
3.
at 3. I'll take Baltimore at 3.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what the
All right,
line
you're the
is.
pot. I need to give you no.
David said, "I'll be the pot."
Well, I mean, I never see him. I don't. I mean,
No, Micah said David will be the pot. David said immediately, "You don't want me to be the pot."
pot.
yeah.
Hold on. You hold on to your 20, but we'll. Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay. I think Baltimore underperformed in week 1. I think they have too much talent on offense to. But I also think that they could absolutely implode at any second because they have too many personalities.
I think Baltimore's offensive line was awful last
Agreed.
week.
Agreed.
They're going against a better defense this week. They're going against an angry,
And
embarrassed
angry. Yeah,
team
yeah.
this week. Baltimore's secondary is full of holes, and they're on the road.
Which is a rare thing. It's
Yeah,
pretty rare that
Baltimore's
secondary.
secondary is not that good.
It's been known
So,
traditionally, so it's pretty rare.
It's been better than it is now. I think Cincinnati
Yeah.
wins this game. I think they're, like I said, overreaction to week 1. Everybody looked at Baltimore. They won easily. Everybody looked at Cincinnati, saw they were embarrassed themselves.
To be fair,
And
also Baltimore did not win easily. They ran away with it at the end of the game. Like the
there
score was not that reflective.
never any point where you thought Houston could win that game.
No, but who's
There's
like
never any point.
who is Houston? I mean,
Yeah, that's what I mean. But there was never any point where you thought, oh, Baltimore's in trouble in this
No,
game. I watched,
no.
I'm sitting there watching the game. I never thought Baltimore was in trouble.
no.
Baltimore is
but
acting
they
like they got a
also-
receiver in
but
Zay Flowers
they-
this year, though.
Zay
Rookie
Flowers.
quarterback on the road, first game, never covers.
Yeah.
That's why I bet Atlanta. That's why I bet Baltimore. That's what I told everybody last week. So it was, and that was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's nothing less important than the score at halftime.
Yeah, well, I mean, Baltimore lost. Baltimore had J.K. Dobbins, who was literally their only decent running back.
What are your
Tear
thoughts
his Achilles.
on Odell?
He's he's the third best receiver on, probably the fourth, fifth best receiver on that team.
I don't disagree.
I'd rather have I think Andrew's a better receiver. Likely's a better receiver. Bateman and
Flowers is more
Flowers.
valuable. Yeah.
Beckham is a
More
name.
trouble than he's worth.
Yeah, he's a name.
He's
And I'm waiting for him to become a complainer
which he will.
and a malcontent.
Which he will,
and
because
that's I fully believe
he
that's
got what 3 targets this last game. You know it's the same thing that happened when he went to the Browns, where he was like initially he's all in with the team and it's all
Yep.
about the team, and then pretty soon it's all about him. And I kind of love the drama, to be honest. Like, one of my favorite. Give me Johnny Manziel over Peyton Manning any day of the week, because I like to watch the roller coaster. For me, it's entertainment more than it is just consistency.
not a Johnny Manziel guy. Just-
Oh, I love Johnny Football. Did you see the documentary?
no, I have no interest. I don't like Johnny Manziel. He's a toast. He's a has-been. He had one great game at Alabama. He's gone. Good riddance.
I don't blame
That's
you
That's
at
my
all.
that's my opinion of
Hey.
Johnny Manziel.
I don't blame you at all. I just love the guy. He's so funny.
Well, I mean that's why you have me on here. I don't pull any punches. I tell you, Johnny Manziel's a piece
That's-
of crap. Yeah,
That is what the
he
winning
was
ticket.
always a piece of crap. And
Hey, that's what the winning ticket 21 is all about.
Yeah.
Is not we don't pull punches here.
I-
We throw punches
I
here. We throw
definitely-
haymakers.
if you didn't hear my
and leg kicks that'll
Yeah.
debilitate you.
if you didn't hear my Jonathan Taylor rant from a couple of weeks ago, I absolutely blistered Jonathan Taylor. And
Didn't he
Yeah.
sign somewhere?
no, he's still in Indy, but supposedly he's
Oh.
getting ready to pass his physical, so he'll be able to play on week 5 when he's able. My guess is he wants to play week 5 so he can get a good couple of weeks in, and then potentially be traded.
Wrap.
Yeah.
Dating.
Write down how many picks do I have for my 5 locks this week?
You have 2 NFL picks, and then you have 4 college picks.
Oh, so we're already there.
Yeah.
All right.
What's
Okay.
what's your lock?
We're putting down a minimum of 5 games to pick.
But if you had a lock, like what?
I like them all.
Well,
I like all 5 or 6
no, I
that's
know,
on
but
there.
if you had one that you
My-
had
my
to
absolute-
I
see-
like them. I like the bottom just as well as the top, and the top as well as the middle.
hold
My
I wouldn't
favorite
have gave it out if I didn't like
my
it.
favorite pick this weekend is the Bears. That's my favorite pick.
But it's kinda
Cincinnati
like-
would be second.
on.
Buffalo would be
Cincinnati
third.
is a good. Cincinnati's a good. Is actually I'm regretting and I'm gonna owe you 20 for sure. All right, boys.
Yeah, so I think that's all, guys. Let's get out of here on this Thursday night. Enjoy the rest of this Vikings Philadelphia game, and I got Memphis and Navy to watch too in the second half. So for David Scharf, Damian, and Micah Mills, I'm Clemson John, and we'll see you guys next time.
2 weeks.
Shout out to everybody who came in. I love it.